there. Welcome to the Flute 360 podcast. I'm Dr. Heidi K. Begay, and I'm a flutist, educator, coach, and podcaster. My God-given mission is to serve you. I am passionate about guiding you, the modern-day flutist, to discover your unique voice on and off the stage. The goal of this podcast is to help you thrive, both as an artist and as a musicpreneur. Go ahead and grab some espresso, your favorite notepad, and let's get to it. Today's episode 173 is titled Building Collaborative Relationships. Initiate, Cultivate, and Scale, Part 1. Hey there, music friend. Welcome back to another Flute 360 podcast episode. I am so pumped that you have tuned in. For the past few weeks, I have been doing some surveys and some deep dives. I have been getting into great conversations with Flute 360 listeners just like yourself. These are wonderful new music friends that I have met and worked with from across the country. And these times and these conversations together have been a joy for me. I have been getting to hear about your stories, your passions, and your pain points. So if you're listening to this right now and you think, oh yeah, I'm really struggling with XYZ, feel free to reach out to me at any time at heidikbegay@gmail.com. I promise I do not bite. Within these deep dives, I have been hearing your beautiful stories and the struggles that you are currently facing right now. Now, the one pain point that I want to really hone in on today is going to be found through episode 173, which is today, and the next two episodes, which are episode 174 and episode 175. So make sure you're checking out the upcoming episodes because this is a 3-part series. Now, the pain point that I want to focus in on is I get asked this question time and time again. How do I create new musical opportunities for myself? Woo! That's a doozy, right? Especially when we are musicians living in a time where the music industry is changing and we are dealing with a current pandemic, right? I want you to know that you are validated with these emotions. I hear you loud and clear. So many times I've struggled, last 2 years, struggled with finding my voice, finding how to create something from nothing. So I resonate and I empathize with you. You are not alone. But I have picked up some tricks along the way, and I would love to share them with you right now so that way you can thrive and soar within your music career and or music business. Now, I've been hearing people say, where do I start? Who do I reach out to? Can I monetize from these opportunities, etc., etc.? And I'm so glad that these questions have been brought up to the forefront because we are going to examine these questions. We are going to dig a little deeper and find some solutions to your pain points today. Now, I think that some people wait for opportunities to show up at their door. Now, don't get me wrong. That's wonderful. And waiting for scheduled events like flute festivals, conferences, and summits are a great way to start cultivating new relationships. But I think, in between these different events, I think we need to take it upon ourselves to start something new, to actually begin that process of reaching out to people to start those new opportunities on our own time. And I say that because what if you want to forge your own path? What if you have a new creative idea that you just cannot wait to start and it doesn't really fit into a conference or a summit, then I think we need to show up and reach out. Actually, I take that back. I don't think we should. I know we should. You need to show up and reach out. It's so hard sometimes, and I totally get it. It's hard sometimes to step outside of your comfort zone. It's difficult to step outside of your safe space and your bubble. But I encourage you to really start spreading your wings and to start bringing in more people into your orbit. Now, I'm focusing on people because I think and I know we cannot do it alone. So if you have an idea for a creative project, a recital, a concert, a composition, I don't care what it is. I think the heart of any creative project is community. You need to put people into your orbit who are going to help support you, who are going to help get that project off the ground. We cannot do it alone. So with that being said, I think we need to focus in on how to cultivate these new relationships. I'm going to walk you through a 3-part series where we look at these different aspects, such as initiate, cultivate, and scale. So the first nugget that I want to give you is I want you to keep your eyes and ears open all the time. I kid you not, when you have your blinders, right, kind of panned out a little bit wider from the narrow scope of things, then you're going to get a more bird's eye view of what's going on around you. You're going to take notice more when names come up, opportunities come up, and then that's when you can kind of insert yourself and say, oh, that's interesting, and continue with that conversation. So before we get into initiate and cultivate and scale, I want you to keep your eyes and ears open all the time. This is a great way to just recognize what's going on around you and hop on in if you think it's a good fit for yourself and for your career. Now, I want to start off with a story, an example first, and then we're going to break it up within these 3 episodes. Now, this example includes my new music friend and new computer science friend, Jamie. I have been noticing her through mutual Facebook groups that we are both a part of, and I've been noticing her amazing work through her podcast. So what did I do? I reached out. The reason why I reached out was because I had a purpose. I had an end goal in mind. I was thinking, hey, if she and I could get along, if there is going to be good synergy, then perhaps she would be interested in blank. So I did just that through a couple DMs, a couple comments through each other's Facebook posts. We initiated and started a relationship. We started a conversation. From there, I texted her and said, hey, let's continue this. I wanted to cultivate the relationship. You can initiate all day long, but if you don't actually water and give it some TLC, that relationship is not going to grow. So I gave her my Calendly link and I said, hey, let's schedule a call. From those 30 minutes, we realized that we were both striving and aiming for the same things in life. We were trying to build a community. We were trying to bring people into our orbit. We were trying to build summits, etc. And her mission and my mission were aligned. So we cultivated that relationship within a 30, 40-minute phone conversation. From there, because we saw that our values were in alignment, etc., we wanted to take it a step further, aka scale the relationship. So by the end of the conversation, she invited me to her May 2022 summit to be a presenter, and I returned the favor and asked her to be a presenter at my January 2022 summit. It was a win-win for both parties. So that's one example. There are many, many more to come, but I want to focus in on that. So now let's break it up. Initiate. You think, okay, Heidi, you just, texted a random person? No. Remember how I said earlier, I noticed, I observed Jamie from afar. I saw what she was doing, and I wanted to get to know her and her projects more. I researched what Jamie was all about. I researched her podcast show, and I took a deeper look into how she was serving her tribe, how she was connecting with her people through her different creative projects and endeavors. And then I noticed, oh wow, there's a common thread among Jamie's world and my world. Let's see if we can start something together. That is the initiation. So for you, I encourage you to initiate a new relationship this week. Remember, it's all about people. It's all about making connections because we cannot do it alone. So reach out to someone whom you admire from afar. Notice what they're doing. Take an interest. And remember, it's all about this idea of us, not about me. And from this selfish idea of me, but from this idea of what's the win-win for everybody involved. Reach out specifically to people who are the doers. Something else to keep in mind is reach out to people who inspire you and who motivate you. When you initiate a conversation through a DM, a text message, or an email, be as genuine and as authentic as possible. Now, when you reach out to said person, I'm telling you right now, said person is going to be blown away by the fact that you took initiative. They are going to be blown away and so humbled and honored that you took notice in what they were doing or what they are doing. And I'm telling you, this is when magic happens. So do not be baffled or do not be meek in this approach. Go out, step outside of your bubble today and start initiating a new relationship because it will, if it's nurtured and if it's cultivated the right way, it will scale. That's all for today. I hope you check out the next 2 episodes where you get to hear all about the cultivation and the scaling of said relationship. Until next time. Thank you for listening to the Flute 360 podcast. Please go to HeidiKBigay.com/contact and let's connect. If you need guidance in terms of your musical career, please do not hesitate to reach out. I have been helping musicians for years navigate their careers, and I would love to help you do the same. Let me help you find your unique voice on and off the stage today. Schedule a 1-hour coaching call through HeidiKBigay.com/contact. The link is in the show notes below. Talk to you soon. Let's talk about flute.